If you're watching this right now, it's because you're the kind of person who dares to ask the big questions, the ones hiding beneath the surface. Welcome to Pharaoh's Code, where we dive into the unknown, one mystery at a time. If you're fascinated by the ocean's darkest secrets, then, hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you think might be hiding in the abyss, because what you're about to hear is real, and it's going to blow your mind. Imagine plunging into the blackest part of the ocean, far beyond the reach of sunlight. Down there, in the frozen silence, is a world unlike anything we've truly explored. It's a world of monstrous creatures, ancient fossils, alien-like animals, and honestly, possibly secrets we've only begun to uncover. For centuries, sailors spoke of sea monsters like the kraken, the leviathan, the hydra, tales dismissed as fantasy. But what if some of those legends were based on truths twisted over time? Because even though we haven't seen giant sea serpents pulling ships into the deep, we've found creatures just as strange. Take the colossal squid, for example. Found in sub-Antarctic waters, this beast can grow up to 46 feet long, 14 times larger than the average arrow squid. That's a predator bigger than most school buses, lurking in waters so cold and deep that really barely anything survives. Or so we thought. Even stranger, we've found a sea sponge in the Pacific that's the size of a minivan. A sponge. And that's just one tiny clue in a puzzle that spans 80% of all life on Earth, the part hiding under the ocean waves. Here's something even crazier. We've mapped the surface of Mars better than we have our own ocean floor. Over 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, unseen and unmapped, and there's a reason for that. The pressure at those depths is insane, equivalent to the weight of 50 jumbo jets pressing down on you. Temperatures are close to freezing. Sunlight? Forget it. It doesn't reach past the first 650 feet. After that, it's twilight, then complete darkness. To survive down there, life had to change, radically. It's something scientists call deep-sea gigantism, because at those crushing depths, organisms grow big. Very big. But why? The deeper you go, the colder and darker it gets. Oxygen levels drop. Food becomes scarce. That's where size becomes a weapon. Large creatures can store energy longer, move further in search of prey, and survive in conditions that would kill others. Their metabolism slows, helping them digest slowly and survive without constant meals. They don't regulate body temperature like we do. That's more energy saved. Some of them mature so slowly, they don't start reproducing until they're 150 years old. Like the orange ruffy, a deep-sea fish that lives up to a century and a half. At these depths, predators are rare. So animals down here are like living fossils, untouched by change, still surviving in the same form they had millions of years ago. Crinoids, coelacanths, and hagfish. They've stayed frozen in time while the world above evolved, industrialized, and forgot. But as bizarre as it gets down deep, it's not always that far beneath the surface. Near Antarctica, where the oxygen is rich and the water's cold, you'll find sea spiders the size of dinner plates, giant slugs, massive worms, and even single-celled organisms you could hold with both hands. Down here, the rules of biology stretch, sometimes to the point of breaking. And then there's the blobfish. Ever seen it? It's often called the ugliest animal on Earth. But that's because we're looking at it wrong. Deep in its natural habitat, the blobfish looks like any other fish. But when brought to the surface, with the pressure reduced by over 100 times, its jelly-like body collapses. It swells, sags, and, well, looks like a cartoon character left out in the sun. That's because it's built entirely to survive crushing pressures, not Instagram filters. The ocean also hides mysteries we didn't expect. Sounds, for example. In 1997, researchers recorded one of the loudest underwater sounds ever heard. They called it the bloop. For years, no one knew what caused it. A monster? A ship? A secret military project? Turns out it was something just as powerful, an ice quake, a massive fracturing of frozen ground under the ocean. But not all deep-sea mysteries are cold. Hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor spew water up to 750 degrees Fahrenheit, but it doesn't boil. That's because the pressure is so high that boiling becomes impossible. Around these vents, entire ecosystems thrive. Tubeworms, some up to 8 feet long, feed off chemicals instead of sunlight. Inside their bodies, bacteria process the chemicals from the vents and turn it into food. It's life built without photosynthesis. A blueprint for how maybe alien life might survive on other planets. Speaking of aliens, let's talk about the vampire squid. Found 3,000 feet deep, this creature looks like it belongs in a horror film. With a cloak-like body and bioluminescent skin, it can glow to scare off predators. If that doesn't work, it inverts itself, exposing spiny appendages. Its name, Vampiroteuthis infernalis, means vampire squid from hell, but you know it's actually harmless. What isn't harmless are the environments that swallow up our past. Ancient cities like Heracleion were thought to be legends, until divers found them underwater, preserved in sediment. Whole temples, statues and golden artifacts were pulled from the sea, proving that rising tides really can bury civilizations. And let's not forget the Titanic. Though its official discovery was in 1985, there are rumors a fisherman pulled up a porcelain doll's head from the site years earlier. Later investigations traced the doll back to a Titanic survivor who lost her toy but lived to tell the tale. Small details like that remind us how much of our story lies beneath the waves. The Mariana Trench, the deepest known point on Earth's seabed, is over 36,000 feet down. It's so deep, if you dropped Mount Everest into it, its peak would still be over a mile underwater. The pressure here is more than 1,000 times what we feel at sea level, and yet even here life exists. Microorganisms, amphipods and even fish live in the pitch-black abyss, feeding on the tiny bits of organic debris that fall like snow from the ocean above. Submersibles designed to go there must use syntactic foam to resist crushing forces. One vessel even used 1,000-pound steel weights to sink, then relied on corrosion to slowly detach the weights and resurface. And yes, tours of the Mariana Trench now exist. In 2020, a few lucky people took 14-hour trips to its bottom inside a titanium sphere. They reported alien-like sea life and utter silence, broken only by the groaning of pressure on metal. But not all deep-sea creatures live in such darkness. Some, like the northern stargazer, bury themselves in shallow sand and launch surprise attacks using electricity. Others, like the sarcastic fringehead, open massive mouths in warning. The cookie-cutter shark, the goblin shark, the gulper eel, each one looks more bizarre than the last, and it doesn't stop there. There are faceless fish, giant isopods and worms that dissolve bone with acid, animals that light up in reds and greens despite never seeing sunlight, creatures that eat by touch, sense vibrations, or even stand on the sea floor with fin-shaped legs. Down here, nature redefines itself. But we're just scratching the surface. Because for all we know about the ocean, there's so much more we don't. What lies beyond the next trench? What's hiding in caverns we haven't mapped? Could legends of sea monsters be echoes of real sightings? The deeper we go, the more we discover just how little we understand. And the scariest part? We've barely gotten started. If you're still watching, congratulations. You're one of the curious ones. And that means you belong right here, with us. Don't forget to like this video, drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Pharaoh's Code so you never miss the next deep dive into the unexplained. Until next time, stay curious.